are going to look at a 2-column cash book. In our previous video, we made a 1-column cash book. So this time around, we are going to have a 2-column cash book on the table. Simplified, easy, but don't forget to subscribe to our online YouTube channel, Moto Online. Please feel free to comment, ask questions. We shall answer you immediately. So subscribe, follow for more, and like. So in this video, we are looking up at a 2-column cash book. How are we going to handle a 2-column cash book? A 2-column cash book. Someone may ask, what is a 2-column cash book? A 2-column cash book can be defined as a book of original entry that records all transactions that are made in cash and bank basis. What do I mean by cash and bank basis? Transactions may be done by cash or by check. That's what we call a bank. We cannot say that such a transaction, it was made by bank, but rather it is made by check. So in further details in this video, we are going to highlight on a 2-column cash book. A 2-column cash book. Someone may ask, how does it look like? A 2-column cash book, as you all see, we are going to come up with our table of a 2-column cash book. Remember, under cash books, we do have what we call cash receipts and cash payments. Cash receipts are recorded on the debit side of the cash book, whereas cash payments are made on the credit side. So we start with the debit side. So we start with the debt, followed by the details or the particulars. But for my case, let me use the details. So here, folio, cash, and bank. Then also followed by, remember this, unlike like the single-column cash book, but a 2-column cash book, it has the debit and the credit. Whereas the 1-column cash book, it has only one side, and that is the debit side, where the transaction it is made, or the business is losing, or it is gaining. So here, with the 2-column cash book, it has on the credit side, what you have done here, it's what you do here. The debt, the details, we have the folio, some call it the PR or the posting reference, we have the cash and the bank. You can come across a question. Well, for instance, this question that we are going to talk about, we are going to find that these transactions are made both in the cash and the bank basis. Our dear viewers, before this, have you subscribed to our online YouTube channel, Moto Online? Feel free, like, share, comment, shall answer you. Ask, feel free to ask any question. So here, we do have the credit side. Rather, here, on the debit side, it records only and only cash receipts. Receipts that are entering into the business. The cash receipts. The cash receipts. The debit side. You come across so many textbooks having the cash receipts on the other side and then the cash payment. The cash payment on the credit side. But before we go any further, can you distinguish what we call a cash receipt and a cash payment? A cash receipt, here, these are receipts that the business is receiving as it makes transactions. It's day-to-day transactions. Whereas cash payment, these are day-to-day expenses that a business makes. So here, in this We have ABC Limited starting a business with the cash at hand and the cash at hand as per the rule of the accounting equation. Here we are going to look at cash at hand, cash and bank, and we are going to be classified as assets. And here we are going to see cash at hand and cash at bank increasing. And we said initially in our previous videos, an increase in assets, we debit increase in assets, whereas a decrease with credit. I repeat, the rule of the double entry system. With an increase in a cash in these assets, in these business assets, we do debit them, whereas the decrease in these assets, we credit them. Likewise, unlike the liability side, because any increase in liability, we credit, whereas a decrease in liability, we do debit. We are going to see more further in our videos to make. That is going to be our next video, because our next video is going to be about accounting equation. So I've just given a brief summary on what we call cash receipts and cash payments. I've said the cash receipts are paid on the debit side, whereas cash payments are recorded on the credit side of the cash book. So here in this case, ABC Limited starting business with the cash at hand and the cash at the bank, 2M and 3M respectively. How do you record this? So here, all these transactions were made in the month of February. Please mind you recorded the date. Also, I identify which currency was used. This currency, it is in Ugandan shillings. Please endeavor to indicate the currency that these transactions were carried out, because with only this, we record a single mark. We give you awarded the mark even without entering into details. But don't forget any heading. Take into as a live example. You cannot just come up out from the house minus even dressing up. So likewise here, you cannot just come to this table minus having a title, because the title takes 1 mark. So here the title, we are going to say ABC Limited, 2-column cash book for the month of February 2022. This is a single mark. And remember, when we are writing these headings, we write them in the middle of the page. You say ABC Limited. That is a single line. Then on the second line, you say 2-column cash book. Then there's the third line for the month of February, any month that they have given you. So all these transactions were made in the month of February 2022. So here, this business, ABC Limited, started with the cash at hand and the cash at bank. But only and only. Here, how do you record this? How do you put them? All these cash at hand and cash at bank, they come in accounting. It's what we call balance brought forward. You come here on 1st of February, balance carried forward. Remember, we are in accounting, financial accounting. These abbreviations are what? Are encouraged. So balance carried forward, someone said brought forward. So here we have cash at hand, 2 million. 2 million. Well, as cash at bank, 3 million. Someone may ask out there that are on live, why don't we include the balance, these balances on the credit side? Someone may ask. The reason as to why we are not recording the same balances on the credit side, because here the business, it is starting with these assets in the form of cash at hand and the cash at bank. In rather, it is a capital. So it is starting with this capital, with the cash at hand and the cash at the bank respectively. Okay, that's why we do not record them on the credit side, because also another reason as to why that On the credit side, we record the owner and owner cash payments to the business that the business is paying to, or the outflows of the business. Whereas here, the cash receipts, these are inflows of the what? The business. But before, have you subscribed to our online YouTube channel, Moto Online? Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Feel free to comment. Our dear viewers are out there. Feel free to ask. I know you are on live. So, as far as financial accounting is required, or accounting one, this is how we record such a transaction. Balance. Don't say that here. Don't come up to say cash at your hand and the cash at the bank. Why? Because this is a debt reputation. That's why in the accounting language, we name it as balance carried forward or brought forward. That's how we do it. Then on the second, say that this business still paid the salaries, paid off salaries worth 400,000. Identify the transaction. Is it a cash payment or a cash receipt? When the business is paying off salaries, it means that the business, it is losing cash. And remember, all of cash payments are recorded on the credit side of the cash book in the business. So in this category, here you're going to come up that on the 2nd of February, salaries were paid. Salaries amounting to how much? Please, look at such a trick here. Paid the salaries 400,000. They have not distinguished whether cash or bank. When you come such across here, this transaction was made through cash or on a cash basis. So we are going to record the salaries on the cash or in the cash column, and that these salaries were amounting to 400,000. You see how accounting it is simplified, easy, and articulative. Here with the accounting, as far as accounting is concerned, we are articulate. Remember, it is the process of summarizing, recording, and analyze, plus interpreting this transaction, record them into what we call the financial statements. Here, we use the accounting language or the accounting terminology. I repeat, on the credit side, we record honorary and honorary cash payments that the business is paying off. It can be to the creditors. It can be to liabilities. Can be to, you could record the decrease in assets. One may say, but you said that all assets are recorded on the debit side. No, I've said any increase in an asset, it is recorded on the debit side of the cash book. Whereas a decrease in any asset, it is recorded on the credit side of the cash book. So here, following, remember, we are in what we call a chronological order. Some of you in the previous videos that we made, you have heard of the word chronological. In a simple layman's language, that these transactions are aligned following the dates of the calendar and based on the question that you have received or you have seen in a question. So next, on 3rd of February, here we saw the goods for 500,000 ABC Limited. Saw the goods, selling goods. It means that when we selling goods, we say, how can we distinguish such a transaction? The following are to be credited. Our dear viewers, I hope you have submitted, right?
Yes, we have 25.
Yes, thank you to 25 people for joining. Thank you. Feel free to comment. Let me first on the debit side.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much, Joy. So here, what are those items that are debited or must be debited? One, we have what we call cash sales. Cash sales. Two, we do have what we call the receivables. The receivables. Mind you, we debit also the balance brought forward or the carried forward balances. We also record inventories. Here we are going to say, here we may see a business purchasing. It means that when it purchases goods, it means that it is increasing on the capital of its business so as to maintain its day-to-day business. Yes, transaction. And then that is the debit side. How about the credit side? What are those crucial transactions that are debited? I mean that are credited. One, we do debit all liabilities to the business. Liability may be form in form of payments to creditors, maybe to debtors or to the creditors. Who's a debtor and who's a creditor? One may ask. A debtor is that person that gives out goods on credit. A debtor is that person who gains the goods on credit, whereas a creditor is that person who gets goods on credit. Have they commented? Have they liked our page? Please don't forget it's Motto Online. Thank you for watching. Feel free to ask, comment. We are free to answer you at any time. So, beside liabilities here, we do record sales. Sales. Our dear viewers, sales. We also credit sales. Not the cash sales. Sales. Only what we call sales. In the further videos, we are going to look at what we call ledgers. How do we treat sales in ledgers? Then, we are also recording all decreases in assets. Someone may say, but excuse me, you said that we debit all assets. No, I've said, if you identify that the transaction, it is increasing, when an asset, it is increasing. Suppose in this case, cash at a hand and cash at a bank, these are assets. These are business assets. They increase in the business. It's because these are the cash balances that the business is going to start with. In simple terms or a simpler language, you're going to identify more transactions that are debited or credited in that two-column cash book. So here, the first transaction said, purchase the furniture. The business, remember it is ABC Limited, purchase the furniture worth 100,000. So, how do have you identified that here, the business, it is incurring a payment. It means that in this transaction, it's going to be recorded on the credit side of the what? Also, mind you, we do record all purchases, all cash purchases on the credit side of the cash book, of the two-column cash book. Remember, these rules, they are so easy and because here we have brought to you accounting at its simplest terms. So here, on fourth, purchase the furniture worth 100,000. Say, on fourth, please mind about the debt. Fourth, purchases, but we do not record the purchase. We do call it furniture. What did they purchase for? Someone may say, purchase the furniture, but that is just, it is done by these kids of secondary. But at this level, at the university campus, this level, where this is a fundamental core studied by everyone that is joining campus, we do record furniture, despite of the fact that it is a purchase. So furniture was was purchased, and that furniture amounted to 100,000. Have they asked any question? Have they liked the page?
Yes, they are liking, but so far no comment.
Okay. How many do you have on live?
60 now.
60. Thank you for joining. Please join. Feel free like, subscribe to our online YouTube channel, Moto Online. So here we are going to look at, we are going to record furniture, because since the furniture was purchased in the form of cash, we do record the furniture in the cash column. Do you get what I'm meaning? Then there's transaction that was made on 5th. That was made on 5th. Received a check. Received a check. Received a check amounting to 2 million. The business received the check. It is not necessary that they are going to tell you that who is giving out the check, but the business is receiving a check. Here, it means in the simple money's language, the business, it is receiving the accounts receivables. It is gaining the receivables. You never know at a certain point, maybe in the month of January, that the business sold out goods on a particular date that was not mentioned even. So here, on 5th, the business received a check. You could say, you could record the check. You could record the check. 5th. Remember, all the checks are transacted always through, I repeat, checks are recorded through banks only. So here, I'm recording this transaction on the 5th, the check on the banker column, which he had initially, that's 3 million, but this check, it amounted to 2 million. Remember, we do not abbreviate these amount figures. We must rate them in their full figures. Then the second, the following transaction, purchased a motor vehicle. Purchased motor vehicle. Purchase of a motor vehicle. Remember, in the cash books, all the purchases are recorded on the credit side of the cash book. All the purchases, all the cash purchases, regardless whether it is an asset or a liability. Here, say, purchased motor vehicle. It means that the business, when it purchased, it lost cash, despite of the fact that it purchased any asset. But here, this asset, it decreased on the capital of the business. That's why I'm recording it on the credit side. So the transaction that was made on the 6th, you record motor vehicle. Motor vehicle. I repeat, a decrease in any asset, it is credited in a cash book, regardless whether it is an asset or a liability. Here, the business purchased motor vehicle and it purchased it in the form of cash, despite of the fact that they did not distinguish whether it purchased through cash or bank, but they have given us the amount. for business use. We automatically put into mind that that is what we call a contra entry. Have you heard of what we call a contra entry? A contra entry. When a business, our dear viewers, when a business withdraws cash for business use, that is what we call any accounting person knows that that is a contra entry. What is a contra entry? A contra entry, it is that transaction that is recorded on both sides of the cash book, but starting with that side that is gaining and lastly the side that is losing. Now in this instance, ABC Limited withdrew cash for personal use. I've said withdrawing for personal use, we record it on the credit side. Withdrew cash, that is. And remember, the business makes withdraws only through the bank, only through the bank. You cannot withdraw from your own cash, but rather in such a circumstance, we say that acquired more. The business may acquire more assets or may acquire a liability, but withdrawings are made only through bank. That's why withdrawing, on 9th of February, the business withdrew 300,000 for business use. For business use on our dear viewers, the business withdrew for personal. That's why we have recorded such a transaction. I've said, our dear viewers, we have recorded such a transaction on the what? On the credit side of the cash book. Those who will continue to watch our videos on YouTube channel, Moto Online, will see furthermore cash books. How do we deal with these contra entries? I have just spotted an highlight of a contra entry, how it looks like. And maybe in the second circumstance, one may ask, is it only when the business is withdrawing cash for business use? No. We have 3, but the 2, please subscribe. Watch our videos. More videos on our online YouTube channel, because the business does not only withdraw money for personal use, but rather it withdraws also money from what? So here, these transactions are complete, ready to be balanced. Our dear viewers, this is a real time for you. But before, have you subscribed to our online YouTube channel, Moto Online? Please don't forget to like, follow, share. Feel free to comment. Ask a question. We shall reply you. Here, after entering all of these transactions, each transaction that is entered, it is a mark. Each transaction, you may find a cash book on this cash book when it has 20 marks. Free of charge. Free of charge. I'm telling you, these marks are free of charge. We have brought accounting or financial accounting to the simplest terms. To the simplest terms. Okay? So, here the next step, after recording all this transaction, we are going to balance off. I've said, our dear viewers, we are going to balance off these transactions. How do we balance? What is the balancing of an account? What do you understand when a person asks or tells you that I'm going to balance off an account? Our dear viewers, this is the process of balancing of an account or a cash book. We are going to first total up only on the debit side and we total the cash and also the bank on the credit side alone and see. But put it in mind that the debit side must be greater than the credit side. Unless otherwise, when the business it is making losses or when it is incurring losses. So here, the total amount of the cash book, we are seeing only one single transaction was carried out, and that was the cash transaction that were made on, the balance brought for the balance brought or carried for the figure that was 2 million. That is the total of the debit side. Go to the cash on the credit side, our dear viewers. We add up the total here. This is 400,000. This is 100,000. When you add the 400,000 to 100,000, that is 500, right? Yes. You add 1 million. That is 1.5. 1.5. Then you add the 200,000. That is 1.7 million. So, having totaled up the cash, our dear viewers, this is where most of you get problems. Balancing off. Balancing off. This, let me record it here. This withdrawings. It was office furniture. Office furniture. Let me. Says office furniture. That was 2 million. Then the withdraw. All the drawings. Yes. I'm going to balance off. That's why I'm minimizing the space. Our dear viewers, I repeat, our dear viewers, get the 2 million, you subtract it from the 1.7. But first and foremost, we record what we call balancing figures. So here, you record only that figure that is above. So come to the cash column, record. I want to code it in a way that is seeable to all of you. 2 million, you also come here to me, 2 million, on only the cash side alone first. And then that balance that I've asked you to get from 2 million from the 1.5, that is coming up as our balance. Carried it down figures. When you have 2 million minus 1.75, that is how much? The 2 million minus 1.7. That is our balance. It is 300,000. So our balance carried down figure, it is 300,000. Balancing off. Very easy, simple, cheap. But have you subscribed to our online YouTube channel? Please run very fast. Moto Online, like, share, and subscribe for more videos. The balance carried down figure, let me rewrite it in a way that is seeable. Balance carried down. It is that balance when you subtract the 2 million that was subtracted from the 1.7. Okay? The 300,000. That is comes as our balance credit down figure. After that, come to the column of the bank. You have the 3 million and the 2 million. When you add the total, you have 5 million. Whereas on the bank side, on the credit side, you have 500,000 and 300,000. 500 plus 300,000, that is approximate to 800,000. So get the 5 million. Let's see to get the 5 million, our dear viewers. Get the 5 million. Let's see, you can also have a side paper, a side work for you. If I've made any mistake, you are free to comment. So 5 million, you less the total of, I've said 500 plus 300, that is 800, 800,000. When you have 5 million minus 800,000, that is an approximate 4.2 million. Am I right? Yeah. So here, that comes, the 4.2, it comes as our balance, carried down figure on the bank side, on the credit side. But first, please have the balancing figure. 5 million. And also come here, show that the 5 million, show also the 5 million. But you carry down that balancing figure to such that when you have the 4.2 million, this 5 million, you less the 4.2 million. When you less it, you have this total figure that is 800. That's what we call balance of a cash book. I repeat myself. The debit side must be greater than the credit side of the cash book, unless otherwise. Because in every business, no business commences with an intention of making losses, but rather it commences with the major aim of making profits, so as to gain more and more. Someone also, there is that question that you always see, it is a theoretical question, say, why may a business continue to operate despite of the fact, well, it is incurring only its average variable cost, or the total average, the total variable cost? Why may a business fail? I mean, why may a business continue to operate while it is only gaining its total variable cost, or, well, it is only getting total cost? It is the same as total revenue. That is in a simple man's language. Why my business continue to operate? Well, it is only at this point, it gains what it puts, or the marginal cost, it is equaling to the marginal revenue. What it puts, it is what it gets. Why my business continue to operate? In relation to our cash book, we are looking at the other side, unless otherwise. The business may continue to operate into business. Well, it expects to acquire more when it anticipates a loan in a nearby future, so as to invest into the business, so as to increase on its capital. But in such a case, well, the business, it is gaining. How do we summarize up here? This cash book, you are going to see, in the first case, while we were balancing off these figures, or the columns of the cash books, that we recorded that amount that was greater than the credit side on both sides, to show that element, what we call the double entry system. The double entry system. And here, because since when you get the 2 million, you less the 300, that is the total 1.7, that is here. Likewise here, when you get the 5 million, you less to the 4.2, you get 800, that is the total of the bank column here. That is what we call balancing of an account. Any question of our viewers asked? Any question? Have they liked?
Yes, they are liking, but please, you can like more.
Like more? Feel free to ask. Ask, you comment. You comment. Let me conclude. In a nutshell, a two-column cash book, it differs from a three-column cash book on this principle that on a three-column cash book, a triple-column cash book, it has discount allowed and discount received. That is the distinguishing feature, that a two-column has over a three-column cash book. And tap me on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe more. These videos are posted if you want to review them on our YouTube channel.